I'd like to call to order this special meeting of the Board of Finance for Monday, August 26th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, nobody's here from the public. All right, Steve, it's your dime.
Okay, so we have had a significant amount of damage, particularly for this one item I sent you all a picture of, the culvert. It's about a 300-foot culvert. It was a pipe that was underground. You saw the picture, part of it's been washed down to Lake Lunona. We have to address this immediately. There is, as you look at that picture, to the right, about 10 feet, is the gentleman whose property we have an easement on, septic system. If we have another storm and wash out that septic system, it would be, how much does a septic cost? $20,000, $30,000 now? So we need to get this work done. The funding we're asking for is $160,000. The culvert itself will be about $102,000, $70,000 in Gordian. We're hiring Gordian because they're a pre-approved state contractor, so we don't have to go out to bid. They simply get good prices and then they add something to it. The state has approved them. We're using them, for example, on the pickleball court. They came in with the best price. Incredibly capable company. And $30,000 worth of materials for that. That's rock, that's pipe, that's stone, that's hundreds of yards of fill to refill in all the dirt. And then we have another about $58,000 worth of culverts and smaller work that we know we're going to have to fix. So we think Ralph has estimated the total cost will not exceed $160,000. As we've all seen, I know in Newtown, they're fixing things left and right. We're fixing them left and right because you get another storm and don't fix it, don't get the riprap in, don't get the rock in, it gets even worse and becomes an even bigger problem. So we want to do this as quickly as possible. This contractor can start on 9/2 and we just need to move on it. These are expenses that we wish we didn't have, but you know, we can't predict the weather. We really want to move quickly on this, and this is why, you know, under the special powers and a declaration of emergency, I do have the authority to simply authorize this, right, on my own. But I think the better way to do it was, because they can't start till 9/2, we told them we're hiring you to go to the boards, go to the Board of Selectmen, get the Board of Selectmen's approval, and then come to the Board of Finance. And I appreciate you meeting on special notice to do this. If we can, that's the way to go, right? Rather than me just simply saying, I'm sorry?
FEMA.
Yeah, and we also have to, thank you, we have to consider, FEMA may pay for this. Interestingly, remember in the macro burst, FEMA did not declare this a disaster area for 3 months, and the president then declared it shortly after. The president has already declared this in Fairfield County. Now what we have to do is meet certain minimum amounts, right? And so we are tracking every single spot we're working on. We're doing it by longitude, latitude, the amount of detail you have to keep for FEMA. We're already doing that for every single one of these, just in case FEMA does say, we will reimburse you. So we're right on top of that. We know how to do it. We did it in the macro burst. It's working really, really well. The fire department, the police, everyone who is working on this is keeping track of every person, where they are, what time they left, when they came back, where they went by latitude and longitude, and what they did. The second part of that is there may be, and my personal opinion is maybe, is that the last time in the macro burst, FEMA did not approve personal assistance for residents and homeowners, residents and businesses. They did that basically, what they said to us, because Fairfield County is wealthy and they don't need help. That's what they said. So what we're hoping though is that we will get personal assistance this time, because is it an election year? Right? So, you know, there's always a little bit of politics in this. So we're asking every resident and business who has any damage whatsoever. Region 5, Demis, our emergency operations in Region 5, have a website, a site that every resident can go onto, report your damage, put the pictures in, get as much detail as possible. And during the macro burst, we collected all of that here in town. It came in 64 different varieties, 64 different pieces of information. Now there's one way to do it. It's on the town website. So we encourage everyone, if you have damage from the storm, put it on there because it helps everyone, because we have to meet those minimums. And then hopefully we'll get personal assistance too, because I know a couple people had their driveways wiped out. These are gonna be 10, 20, maybe more, $1,000 to fix. Can we guarantee, and they're not covered by the town, and our insurance doesn't cover. These are acts of God, and our insurance doesn't cover like this culvert. Now, we're still talking to them, but I got a feeling from what their initial indication. So we're asking the Board of Finance to approve what the Board of Selectmen has approved, so we can do this emergency work.
Okay.
It
Marcia,
doesn't
you
say
wanna
on
add?
here what you had approved.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't say.
We'll make the motion, I'll make that motion. I got it here.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it's going from capital non-reoccurring.
Yeah.
So I can make that motion. It's in, I have it here.
Okay.
From a contingency to capital number.
Right, from contingency into capital non-reoccurring fund. Yeah, I have the motion here. But I'd rather hear, Marcia, how do you feel about the FEMA part of it? You think we're gonna be
So we're gonna
treasurers?
do everything we can to do FEMA. I always get nervous with FEMA, although today they came back with storm Isaiah. I can't wait till it's over because I can't pronounce it, but that storm, saying, hey, if you sign this paper, you can get another $500. So, okay,
We'll
sign it. But there's no reason why we shouldn't get FEMA. But the timing of it, and that's why we're asking it to move to capital non-recurring, because the expenses should be done this year, this month, but the revenue FEMA takes so long that, and we don't book it until it's been obligated by FEMA, so we don't book it as a revenue. I'm hoping that it would all be in the same year, and then we take that and we move it back to contingency before the year ends, but we don't know how long FEMA's gonna take.
FEMA could take years. Capital non-recurring is a multi-year account, so it seemed to make the most sense. Take it from contingency, put it in capital non-recurring, so it's, because it's multi-year. And then if FEMA does pay us, in the Macroverse, we're still filling out paperwork from the Macroverse 5 years later. So FEMA moves very, very slow.
Okay.
It seems like the best way to go, from an accounting standpoint and from the tracking.
Need any questions? Brian, Dan?
Is there excess in capital non-recurring already? I mean, I just worry that you're, that depleting contingency ahead of the school year, not knowing what the school board's gonna need.
We could take it from either place. We try to not touch fund balance
Yeah.
on either one and wash it out. We're still closing last year, but the reason we chose contingency is just that we didn't think that there would be a lot that would ultimately come out of it, but we could take it from
No,
either
I'm just
place.
curious, okay. All right, fair, it's good
Mary?
process.
All right, I'll speak to that. I spoke to, prior to the last meeting, I had spoken to Casey.
Mhm.
And right now, they're at 207,000 on the $200,000 teacher's retirement. And they have a lot of open positions still, and they have 3 psychologist positions still open.
Okay.
So there's gonna be a little bit of cushion in that we didn't get any from last year.
Yep.
They've worked and took our words to heed.
Okay.
So that 200,000 that we all talked about here many, many times is, they're at 207 now. I got the latest, Dr. Burrill sent me the latest, where they were 207 as of last week.
Good.
And I know there's more open positions and possibilities of savings. Their mindset is to recoup those savings as much as they can. So they're ahead already on that. Where last year we were down 200,000, they've pushed it to the even point plus a little over the even point. So I think that if we do this, that I don't know if it's gonna, obviously you never know where it's gonna
Right,
go,
right.
but on that point, they've shored up their things pretty well. So we just gotta worry about the special ed side of it. So I think it's heading in a good
Good,
direction.
all right.
So I did look at that.
Excellent, thanks.
We do have electricity, and last meeting we talked about using some of the surplus from this year for the electricity, and we're still closing the books, and because we can balance little minute items like in the grant funds and the capital funds, those get balanced first and the general fund is balanced last. So we think we can cover the electricity without, hopefully, that this special session will change some of those numbers that we projected.
And you weren't here the last meeting, were you?
I was.
They were there, the
Yeah.
90,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
exactly.
Apologize, just right, you were here. All right. So then, any other thing? So I'll make a motion then. I'll make a motion that the Board of Finance approves the expenditure of not more than $160,000 from contingency into the capital non-reoccurring fund as approved by the Board of Selectmen. Do I have a second? Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Hearing nobody else here, and since we're here, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Good, I like it. Any discussion? All those in favor?